ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, shloka number 1 to 5.
Shri Bhagavanuvāca Param Bhūyah Pravakshyāmi Jnānānām Jnānamuttamam Yajñātvā Munayas Sarve Param Siddhimito Gatāha Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha mama yonirmahad brahma Tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha Tasam Brahma Mahadyonihi Aham Bija Pradapita Satvam Rajastama Iti Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadnanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinamavyayam
14th chapter of the Gita is entitled as Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of distinction of the three gunas. So, from this chapter 13 till chapter 18, we said the discussion is more on the relationship between Jiva, Ishvara, Aikya Sambandha. Relationship between Jiva and Ishvara, the individual and the Supreme. So now he is talking in this chapter especially with reference to the three gunas, which is the qualities of Maya. Maya we say is, or Prakriti we say is nothing but Triguna Atmika, right? And Brahman is beyond gunas, right? And when we talk about Maya Sahita Brahman, we are talking about Ishvara, who is spirit and matter. The Maya, the potential, Shakti, is inherent in Brahman. So when you talk about Brahman with that potential Shakti, you use a specific word called Ishvara, right? And therefore, Ishvara is what? Brahman plus Maya, you can say, right? And that Maya expresses itself as this world. And these three gunas, which is in Maya, expresses in the world. You can see all the manifestations having these three gunas. Understanding of these three gunas helps in relating with every being properly. And able to identify the functioning of these gunas, what is predominating us, and all that having understood, we can deal with these gunas, rise above tamas, rajas, increase sattva and go beyond sattva also. Because just like just now we discussed that Brahman is nothing but beyond gunas, right? Which is not having any qualities. Brahman is attributeless, right? You say that guna atita. You have to go beyond gunas. To go beyond gunas, first you need to understand the gunas. And then you need to control and manage the gunas, and then destroy or reduce, remove tamas, reduce rajas, increase sattva, go on increasing sattva. When you increase sattva to maximum 100%, then only sattva cannot exist. This I explained to you. The two extremes are what? Tamas and rajas. Right? So the balance is sattva. Total inertia, tamas. Restless activity, rajas. Balance is sattva. Right? So when you rise above, increase sattva, when you come to 100% sattva, you go beyond sattva, you reach Brahman. So that is why this chapter is being discussed. In fact, mainly speaking, to identify our nature, how much of sattva, rajas, tamas is there in us, how I have to overcome the tamas, rajas and increase more and more sattva and go beyond, realize the self. Of course, we will also be able to see the sattva, rajas and tamas in the others. But that's not the main idea. After this chapter, when you understand, then you start saying, oh my God, that fellow is a very tamasic fellow. Oh, she's a very highly rajasic person. Fine, you may understand. But you should not come to judging anyone based on this. It's more to relate. See, when you understand the nature of a person, it helps you to relate. Isn't it? When you go to a zoo, you're able to relate with the animals there easily because you understand their nature. You love all the animals equally. You may love the tiger as much as you love the deer. But you know the nature of the deer and the tiger. You may go close to the deer, you may pat the deer, but you will not go close to the tiger and pat the tiger. You understand? So, but your love will be same. You're not going to hate any animal, you're going to love one particular animal, nothing like that. You understand, right? They have their peculiar traits. And with love, you may go closer to certain animals, play with them. With love, you stand at a distance and don't go closer to certain animals. Similarly, when you understand the nature of every being, it is not for us to judge them and then criticize them, talk behind their back. No. If there is any way we can help them to evolve, fine. Otherwise, why talk about it? Understand? It is more to understand about our gunas and then rise above. So in some context, I used to mention in the class that truly speaking, a Brahmana or a Vedantic student is a Shudra. If you say Shudra's job is to do menial job, you understand, cleaning and all that, supposing you understand it like that, then we must understand that all of us are, firstly, we are Shudras. Because the idea in spirituality is to cleanse ourselves. You understand? That is why Swami Ramtita says, wanted reformers not of others but of themselves. We are not sitting here to reform the world. He says reforming the world is like straightening a dog's tail. How much ever you straighten it, it will roll back. You straighten it, again it will roll back. Similarly, Jesus Christ said, iniquity there shall be, woe unto you if you be the cause of it. So many masters had come. They tried to balance the world. Unrighteousness took over. Righteousness was suffering. So they came and balanced it again. You understand? Again, after they left, you will see unrighteousness taking over. This goes on. That's why Jesus Christ said, iniquity there shall be. Woe unto you, W-O-E, unto you, if you be the cause of it. You make sure that you are not the cause of the iniquity. Otherwise, you will have to face the wrath of karma. You understand? So therefore, wanted reformers, not of others, but of themselves. All this you study to relate with the world better and to help yourself to evolve to that height. And the more and more you identify with Brahman, Atman, the spirit within, the more and more you start developing universal love. You understand? Your love will become more and more universal. It cannot be preferential. You will rise from attachment to love. That's what we call as rising in love, not falling in love. Falling in love means attachment. Understand? Rising in love means there is no preferential tinge to your emotion, to your identification. Whereas in the case of attachment, there's a preferential tinge, isn't it? The love is polluted by selfishness. My child, my parents, my city. You understand? You live in that city for some time and you develop attachment. And they know all this. That's why they named the teams in the city name. Manchester United, Manchester City. You understand? And then that Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Capitals. All the fellows go mad. You understand? Because you are attached to your city. So, attachment has a preferential tinge. You understand? Whereas love has no preferential tinge. It is universal. Your identification circle goes on broadening as you identify with the Atma, because Atma is one and the same in every being. You understand? Whereas the physical personality, the emotional personality, the intellectual personality varies. Somebody may be a supporter of a particular party. You may be against that party. His intellectual ideology may be completely different from yours. You understand? So from different angle, if you analyze, everybody has so many varieties are there in this universe. Mind is completely different, isn't it? Each mind, no two mind is same. But yet, you're not identifying with any of these differences. You're identifying with the Atma. When you identify with the Atma within, then to that extent you identify with the Atma in every being. So though you may be identifying with the Atma in every being, you also see these gunas manifesting in them. So you, without hating that person, you understand those gunas and accordingly deal with that person. This is what Jesus Christ said, hate the sin and not the sinner. No one is actually a sinner. It is sin to address somebody as a sinner. Because it means that you are only identifying with the periphery. You are not identifying with the center. If you identify with the center, how would you address anybody as a sinner? If you are addressing somebody as a sinner, means your attention is upon the periphery. You know, easily in the world, what do? We remark about, we pass judgment about so many people, isn't it? See them based on our perception. You see somebody using, let's say for example, your own guru, right? Whoever you consider as your guru, if that guru, you invite that guru to your house for a meal, for bhiksha, and the guru comes, usually what do? You serve on a silver plate, isn't it? Whatever is the best available plate, you will serve in that. Silver plate, silver glass, you will give water and all that. Now that is okay for you. The guru can come to your house, you will serve the food on a silver plate, you will give water in silver glass, all that. Now, when you go to his house, her house, the guru's house, supposing you see every day he is eating on a silver plate there and having a silver glass to drink water. So what kind of a guru is he here? Huh? This guru seems to be having only silver plates. You just see something, you perceive and then start saying that the guru seems to be a highly materialistic person. You understand? The mind immediately projects. Now, the guru has no identification with silver. You understand? For whatever reasons, he may be using silver. The guru may be using silver, but the guru probably is not identifying with the silver. You understand? Whereas you may be identifying with the silver. That's why that is what you are identifying with. If you are predominantly identifying with your body, most of your relationships in the world will be from that level only. If you go at the emotional level, then at that level your relationships will be. If you go at the intellectual level, at that level your relationships will be. Go at the Atma level, then at that level you will relate. So every being you will see as nothing but expression of divinity. But due to ignorance, they are identifying with their gunas and they are functioning in that particular way. So you will understand it and you will deal with them accordingly. But you will never ever develop hatred for any being. In fact, what you will have is only pure love for every being. So in this chapter, there are 27 shlokas and Swamiji has divided it into 4 topics. Now we are studying the first topic, which is from verse number 1 to 4. The first topic is what? Realizing Brahman, sages transcend creation and dissolution. Meaning, when you come to know about your true nature, that is Brahman, Atman, you are not this individual, you are not this body mind intellect complex, but you are the Atma. This is the declaration of the scriptures. Now, when you realize that, you go beyond the gunas, the vasanas. When you go beyond the vasanas, then you go beyond creation and dissolution. What causes your birth is your vasanas. You are born in this classroom because you have vasanas to study Gita. Therefore, you are born in this classroom. When you exhaust all your vasanas to study Gita, you will thereafter no more, you will not be attending any more Gita classes. Because you have ended all the vasanas. Whatever is the next vasana, accordingly you will be born in that environment. You understand? Therefore, when you realize Brahman, when you realize your true nature, thereafter there won't be any vasanas. Therefore, there is no more creation. You will not be born again. And then dissolution is only for that which is created. You understand? You thereafter go beyond creation and dissolution. You go beyond birth. You don't identify with this body anymore. Therefore, no more birth for you. This he discusses from verse 1 to 4. Then nature of Satva, Rajas, Tamas, Gunas, qualities, how they bind beings. This he talks from 5 to 13. Second topic. What is the nature of Satva, Rajas, Tamas, these Gunas? How do they bind beings? Even Satva binds you, not only Tamas and Rajas. So how does it bind and all that he discusses? Then 14 to 18 is the consequential effects of Satva, Rajas and Tamas. What are the consequential effects of Satva, Rajas and Tamas? Especially if a person dies with predominantly Tamasic vasanas or predominantly Rajasic or Sattvic. What kind of direction that person's life takes? All that he discusses, 14 to 18. Then 19 to 27, the last topic, he talks about transcending the gunas, the embodied becomes Brahman. By gaining this knowledge, you transcend the gunas and then you realize the self. You go beyond this embodiment, meaning you don't thereafter stop identifying only with your body. See, what is happening is when you are ignorant, you identify only with your body. When you grow a little bit more, you start identifying with your emotions. Then accordingly, you will be relating with the other person also from that emotional angle. Not just the physical, right? Not just the physical appearance. Physical appearance may be somewhat different. In fact, Swamiji used to tell this many years ago. I believe when Jamshedji Tata, when he had landed in Mumbai airport, his car had not yet come to pick him up. So he thought there were some shops over there. He thought, let me spend some time in going to these shops, and he wanted to buy some cloth. He went to some showroom and then it was first thing in the morning. Right. So in India, they very much particular about the first sale. Isn't it? What is that they call? Boni. Right. So if a first fellow comes and is discussing, they somehow want to convince him and buy, sell their product. So he also knows that. So he went and he liked a particular material. He said, "Give me this." And then he was supposed to pay, but he didn't have cash. In those days, no credit card and all. So he said, "I don't have cash. I'll send my manager. He'll come and pay." But the fellow is not the owner. He doesn't know about Jamshedji Tata. You understand? So he said, "What is this?" First thing, Boni, you're saying no cash. What will happen? I need money. How to trust him also? He doesn't know that it is Jamshedji, So he said, "Okay, don't worry. I will not take the clothes. I'll leave it here only. My manager will come. He will pay and he'll take it. And this is my card." He gave the card. He left. Then afterwards, when the owner came, this gentleman came and he bought this material, but he didn't have money. So I said, "No, you please send your manager with money, then I will give." He saw the card and said, "You said no to this man? This man can buy the entire showroom." Man. You understand? So in other words, why I'm mentioning this here in this context is, you don't know, therefore you only identified with him from the physical appearance. Once you know, you identify at a different level. When your thinking is only at that level, you are flying like a chicken. You can only go up to that level. When your understanding deepens, then you can fly like an eagle. You understand? So therefore, he says here, once you transcend the gunas, you thereafter don't identify or bind yourself only to this body. Whatever may happen to the body is not going to affect you. Similarly, you rise above emotions also. Whatever may happen to your emotions, you don't get affected by that. Similarly, you don't get identified with your ideologies, ideas, thoughts. You rise above the intellect also. You will refuse anyone to bind you to a periphery. You understand? You will refuse to come in any circle. You discuss any personality, for example, you take Sri Krishna. Very difficult to contain that unconditioned consciousness which has expressed itself as Sri Krishna in one particular area. Good person only. You understand? What about the other things he did? Then is he bad person? You understand? Then similarly, Ranchod Das. He left the battle and ran away. You understand? So you cannot try to fit him in one category. How can you? You cannot understand the unconditioned nature. Because for us, our mind wants to categorize. Understand? This is this variety, that is that variety. He doesn't fit into, the pure consciousness doesn't fit into any variety. So it's beyond all embodiments. What he's saying, transcending gunas, the embodied becomes Brahman. These are the 4 topics. And now we are in the first topic. We have done 2 shlokas, shloka number 1 and shloka number 2 already. In the first shloka, he says, Sri Krishna talks now. He says the blessed Lord said, meaning Sri Bhagavan Vacha means blessed Lord said. What did he say? He's telling Arjuna, I will again declare the supreme knowledge, the best of knowledges, which having known, all sages have gone from here to ultimate perfection. He's saying, I will declare this knowledge again, which means what? Already the knowledge is imparted. Already the knowledge is imparted. Whatever he wanted to say, he's already said. In fact, many chapters before itself, he's already said. But again and again, Arjuna asks questions, so he explains. Now, without Arjuna asking also, he explains. Why? Because we have to see the knowledge from different angle and remove all doubts. You understand? Mind is full of doubts. We need to remove all the doubts. And without doubts, when we plunge into sadhana, the truth reveals itself from within. Also, again and again repeating means emphasizing on this knowledge. The only way you can become free is through this knowledge. Self-realization is not doing, it is being. You understand? See, the truth is now expressed itself through this body. Now, unfortunately, due to your ignorance, you have limited yourself to this body, limited yourself to this knowledge that you have, limited yourself to the wealth that you have, limited yourself to your nation, limited yourself to etc., etc., etc. Isn't it? Now, with the knowledge, you have to untie all these limitations that you have created for yourself. No one has created these limitations. You have created it yourself. Even when you think that you are this limited individual, you are infinite. So therefore he says, I will again declare the supreme knowledge. And it is the best of knowledge. This is supreme knowledge. It's the highest of all knowledges. And this is the best of knowledge because knowing itself will release you from all the thraldoms. I understood, but I'm still identifying with my body, which means you did not understand. Others may look at you from your body level, but you will refuse to identify yourself with the body level alone, mind level alone, intellect level alone, once you have got this knowledge. And this is the best of knowledge because it helps you in gaining freedom, which having known, having gained this knowledge, all the sages who did tapasya, all those people who struggle to get back to Brahman, they have gone from here. From here means from this bondage to the body, from this world. You understand? From this limited way of functioning to ultimate perfection, to liberation. They reached. This is the level to which they have reached. What happens when you reach there? He explains. He says, having taken refuge in this knowledge. Having taken refuge in this knowledge, I explained to you when we did this shloka. Having taken refuge means what? Everything in your life should revolve around this. Today, one of the things is knowledge. But when you say refuge in knowledge, means everything else I'm doing because it is disturbing me. See, let's say, for example, this class is going on. As the class is going on, somebody is coming and ringing the bell. You understand? And there is no one at home other than some of us here to go and open the door. Right? So we thought, okay, we'll ring the bell. If nobody answers, nobody goes and opens the door, they'll leave. You know. Second time, third time they ring. What do you will do? Yeah, this is disturbing me from studying. You'll go open the door and say, what do you want? Sorry, please come later. Whatever. Or if there is somebody who's coming for the class, you'll say, please come, etc. Isn't it? But you'll say, okay, let me attend to that. Let me attend to that. So like that, you are attending to your business, your family, your all other desires. For what purpose? To get back to studying the class. No? Isn't it? You are in the class, somebody is ringing the bell, go see who it is, come back. So that obstacle is gone. Similarly, to be able to fully gain this knowledge, absorb this knowledge, there are so many distractions in your mind. So you need to deal with those distractions. And how do you deal with those distractions? By living life, giving it a direction, following karma yoga. You understand? What do? You say, okay, these desires are there. Okay, let me fulfill them with this lifestyle of karma yoga. And also simultaneously rise above it. For what purpose? Only knowledge. So totally taking refuge in this knowledge, they have attained unity with me. Having taken refuge in this knowledge and attained unity with me, they are neither born in creation nor disturbed in dissolution. Meaning what? Thereafter they go beyond creation and dissolution. There is no more creation, dissolution, tamasha for them. There is no more routine mechanical existence for them. There is no more identification with the body, which is taking birth and dying. You understand? Death is only for that which is born, isn't it? So birth and death cycle is for the body, not for me. They understood that. So they go beyond the cycle of birth and death. Now, after this, in this chapter, the main thing he wants to discuss is about three gunas. But in the third and fourth shloka, he talks about the theory of creation. How? Because he talked about creation and dissolution, he talks about the theory of creation, and then he goes about the gunas of the created beings. You understand? That's how the thought flow continues. So let's chant shloka number 3 and 4 together. Let's do 3 and 4 together.
Mama yonirmahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata sarvayonishu kaunteya मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्ममहद्योनिः अहं बीजप्रदः पिता.
Just now I gave the example of somebody ringing the bell and actually somebody came and rang the bell. Mama Yonihi Mahat Brahma. He says, my womb is great Brahma. My womb is great Brahma. In that I place the seed. Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. There arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. This is what he says in shloka number 3. He says, my womb is great Brahma. In that I place the seed. Thence arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. O Bharata refers to Arjuna. Sri Krishna is talking here to Arjuna and is addressing Arjuna as Bharata. Arjuna, descendant of Bharata race, one who belongs to Bharat. Vasirata means reveling in the light of consciousness. So he says, Arjuna, my womb is great Brahma. I will explain all this. In that I place the seed, he says. My womb is Brahma. Brahma means not Brahman. Brahma here is a technical word, which means what? Different ways we can interpret this, but you understand it as Prakriti. You understand? My womb is Prakriti. What he wants to say is, Prakriti is part of me. Who is talking here? Is it Mr. Krishna or Ishvara? Mr. Krishna identifying with the Brahman, and Brahman is what? Nirguna Tattva. Now when Nirguna Tattva, when somebody has realized, but they are expressing themselves, thereafter you don't say Brahman is talking. You say Ishvara is talking. You understand? So here Mr. Krishna is talking as Ishvara. And what is Ishvara? Purusha and Prakriti put together is Ishvara. So when he says, my womb is great Brahma, means what? Prakriti is mine. It is part of me. It is in me. You understand? That Maya Shakti is in me. In that I place the seed. Thence arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. Now, what he's saying is, in that I place the seed. Right? Now, what the technical thing that he wants to say here is that this creation has come from Ishvara only. Ishvara is the material cause and the intelligent cause. if this world has come about, you look at the world, is it appearing to you as finite or infinite? Infinite, no? This infinite universe, where has it come from? Right? Now, if you say it's coming from here, there, then who created that world? And it cannot be finite. That has to be infinite. Then who created that infinite? That infinite, it goes on like that. Right? So, what he wants to say is, the world has come from me only. I am the cause of this universe. The Purusha and Prakriti is the cause of this universe. Prakriti is the material cause. Purusha is the intelligent cause. Prakriti per se has no sentiency. Prakriti is that which is manifested as 5 elements, and the combination of the 5 elements is you, me, and all of us. But per se, these elements have no sentiency. So, what is lending sentiency to this so-called insentient Prakriti? The Purusha. So, therefore, he says, in that I place the seed. I am the one who lent the sentiency to the Prakriti. I am the intelligent cause. See, when you talk about any cause effect, especially you take the example of pots and pot maker. What are the causes for what is the cause for pot? The material cause is clay. The intelligent cause is pot maker. You understand? It has two causes. One is material cause and the intelligent cause. The material cause is mud, clay. Intelligent cause is the pot maker. Now, when you talk about the world, right, both the material cause and the intelligent cause has to be one only, cannot be two. Then there is somebody else who is like, there's a pot maker who's making the clay into pots. Like that, there's some material cause which Bhagavan, the intelligent cause, is created. Then where is he sitting or she sitting? Where is that sitting? That question comes. So Upanishads say, the world has come from Brahman, Ishvara only. When we say Brahman, Ishvara only. How is that possible? Then the Upanishads give one very interesting example. Like spider. The example of spider is given. You understand? In Mundaka Upanishad. What is that example? It says how the spider spins the web out of its own saliva. The web has come from, the cobweb has come from where? Spider's saliva. Spider's saliva is the material cause. Spider is the intelligent cause. You understand? Similarly, just like the spider's web has come from spider, the material cause and the intelligent cause both is spider only. Similarly, this universe has come from Ishvara only. The material cause is Prakriti. The intelligent cause is Purusha. Thence arises birth of all beings. Once this Purusha and Prakriti comes together, the material cause Maya goes through various modifications. First, it manifests as Tanmatras. Then, if you have studied Tattva Bodha, all this will become relatively easy. In Tattva Bodha, he explains all this. Maya manifests as Tanmatras. From the Tanmatras come the subtle body. Then, from the tamasic aspect of the 5 elements, the pentamerous self-division happens. Pentamerous self-divisions and mutual combination he talks about. What is in Sanskrit called as Panchikarana. Panchikarana means the pentamerous self-division and English. In other words, when Maya manifests, first it manifests as Tanmatras, the 5 pure elements. The elements that we see today are the 5 gross elements. You understand? Now, you take earth for example. In this world, you take earth for example. Can you say there is only earth in it? There is earth, there is water, there is fire, there is air and space. The portion of earth is more. One half may be earth. Balance half is divided by 4, in which air is there, space is there, water is there, fire is there. So this you call as gross earth. You understand? Then if it has come into this gross existence today, it must have initially existed subtle in its purest form, only earth. You understand? You can conceive it like that. So earth, water, fire, air and space existed in its purest form, that is called tanmatras. So there is sattvic aspect, rajasic aspect and tamasic aspect of the tanmatras. So from the sattvic and rajasic aspect of tanmatras, he explains, I'm not going to the details of it. In Tattva Bodha class, we'll see all that. So in the sattvic and rajasic aspect of the tanmatras, the manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha and pranamaya kosha has come. In the sense organs of perception, sense organs of action, the pranas and the mind and intellect, all has come from the sattvic and rajasic aspects of the tanmatras. Then the tamasic aspect is there, no? Tamasic aspect of the pure elements. Now, the tamasic aspect, he says, goes into pentamerous self-division and mutual combination. You understand? That is what he calls as panchi karana. And then the mixture happens. And when the mixture happens, the gross world comes. And from that, the gross universe comes. That's what he's explaining. So he says, from that, thence arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. And he further explains this in verse number 4. He says, whatever forms are produced in all wombs, in different places, O Kaunteya. When he's talking about wombs, he's addressing Arjuna as Kaunteya. You have come from Kunti's womb. So therefore you are called as Kunti Putra Kaunteya. You understand? So Arjuna, you have come from Kunti's womb. So whatever form has come from any womb, whatever forms are produced in all wombs, O Kaunteya, great Brahma is their womb. Ultimate material cause for all of them is what? Ultimate material cause for all of them is Prakriti. Great Brahma. I, the seed-giving father. I, the seed-giving father means I am the Purusha which lends sentiency to the insentient Prakriti. You understand? Thus, the variety of sentient beings have come about. That's all he's saying. If you simply read the shloka, it is a little confusing. But when you go into the shloka, if you understand it like this, it's very easy. So what he's saying here, for every object, when you talk about the cause, there is material cause and intelligent cause. In the case of pot, there is clay, which is the material cause. Pot maker is the intelligent cause. In the case of ornaments, gold is the material cause. Goldsmith is the intelligent cause. When it comes to the world, when you say in English God, God means what? What do you understand? Nobody understands anything. Simply we say God. The God, what do we mean? The cause, isn't it? Nobody knows the cause. And that cause cannot be created by something. It has to be a causeless cause. You understand? And this world that has come from that cannot be separate from it. It should be in it only, because that is infinite. You understand? So this so-called infinite world is part of that absolute infinity. You understand? And that absolute infinity, he calls it here as Brahma, which is my womb, which is Purusha. You understand? Brahma is the Prakriti here, and Purusha is the seed-giving father. Is this clear? So he says, the world has come from combination of Prakriti and Purusha. Whatever you take and analyze, it will have these 5 elements. Per se, it will be insentient. And wherever you see the sentiency, what is happening? The Purusha is reflecting through the subtle body. Therefore, he says, whatever forms are produced in all wombs, O Kaunteya, great Brahma is a womb, I, the seed-giving father. So, all he wants to say is, Ishvara is the cause. Purusha, the father, Prakriti, the mother, he says. Understand? Prakriti and Purusha coming together has brought about this universe. So this is how Adi Shankaracharya explains this shloka. Now, if some of you who are reading Swamiji's commentary, you understand, we need to understand it from that angle also. And you may get confused because he's not using any of these words that I talked about till now. You understand? Purposely, I'm, now going in, first explain from that angle. You understand it? And there's no difference between what Swamiji says and what Adi Shankara has said. The same thing. Different way it is being presented. That's all. So now having understood that, now let's get on to what Swamiji is saying about this shloka. Now, in this shloka, when you go to verse number 3, he says, my womb is great Brahma. In that I place the seed, thence arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. Now, what is the seed of creation? When you study Vedanta, the seed is vasanas. Right? What is vasanas? Nothing but ignorance. You understand? Ignorance of Brahman is the seed of this world. The theory of creation that is given by Advaita Vedanta is ignorance of Brahman is the seed of the world. Because when you gain the knowledge of Brahman, thereafter there is no world for you. You understand? For whoever has got the knowledge of Brahman, there is no world. A famous example always we discuss, what is that? Rope and snake. Right? Ignorance of the rope creates the misapprehension of the snake. Rope is the reality in the example. Ignorance of the rope or non-apprehension of the rope brings about the misapprehension of the snake. Right? Brings about the misapprehension of the snake. So, then he says the seed. What is the seed? Seed is the ignorance of the self, ignorance of Brahman. Ignorance of Brahman is the seed. Now this ignorance, the seed, expresses itself as subtle body, the mind, intellect, and then manifests itself as the gross body in this world. This is what he's explaining. So he says, I am the one who is placing the seed in the womb. And womb here is a subtle body. You understand? In the subtle body, the ignorance, the seed manifests and comes as gross body. There arises birth of all beings. So what he's saying is, I am the one who is placing the seed. Meaning, I am responsible for this ignorance, he says. How is Brahman responsible for the ignorance? Is Brahman ignorant of itself? Can you say Brahman is ignorant of itself? No. Brahman is all-knowing principle. Therefore, there is no question of ignorance in Brahman. There is no question of ignorance in Brahman. Okay. So when he says, I am responsible, Brahman is taking the responsibility of ignorance means, what it means is, in the very mere presence of Brahman leaves the potential of non-apprehension of Brahman. If there is no Sonia, if there is nobody called Sonia existing, is there possibility of not understanding of Sonia emerging? For not understanding of Sonia to come about, there has to be somebody called Sonia. You understand? So my very existence leaves the potential of not understanding myself as Brahman as Brahman. You understand? Not understanding Brahman as Brahman. So therefore my very existence leaves the potential of non-apprehension. Therefore, I am the one who is placing the seed, is what he is trying to say here, says Swamiji. You see the interpretation there, what Swamiji is trying to explain. So he says, great Brahma is the womb, right? There is the seed manifesting as this world from the mind, from the subtle body. First, the ignorance, the vasanas, expresses itself as the subtle body, and through the subtle body, the gross body comes about. So here the womb means subtle body. You understand? Ignorance of Brahman is the seed. So ignorance of Brahman manifests as subtle body and gross body. Through the subtle body, the manifold beings have come about. That's all he's saying. There's no difference between this and the previous one. This is a little different way of putting it. That's about it. And then in the next shloka he says, whatever forms are produced in all wombs, O Kaunteya. Great Brahma is the womb. Subtle body, when he said subtle body in shloka number 3, he talks about total subtle body. Now when he talks about wombs, he's talking about individual subtle bodies. See, please understand this. Those of you who are not understanding all this, if you have studied Vedanta treatise, it becomes easy for you to understand. Now, you go to the chapter, the first chapter in part B. In the end, he would have given one diagram. You go and see that. Now, all of us are wakers. You understand? Here now in the waking state, we are all wakers. Waker 1, waker 2, waker 3, waker 4, waker 5, like that, different wakers are there. Individual wakers. All these individual wakers put together is called total waker. Cosmic waker. Similarly, individual dreamers, cosmic dreamer. You understand? Then individual deep sleepers, cosmic deep sleeper. You get it? So the total ignorance manifests through the total subtle body, and the total gross body, the Virat Purusha, the world has come about. That he is talked about in verse number 3. Now he is coming to individual level. In verse number 4, he says, now in the individual level, whatever forms are produced in all wombs, in different subtle bodies. You understand? O Kaunteya, great Brahma is their womb. What he wants to say is, the total subtle body is the womb, from which the individual subtle bodies have come about, and the ignorant seed is now manifesting itself as individual in different bodies. And all this, I am the seed giving father. I am the seed giving father means what? My very existence leaves the potential of not understanding. That not understanding through this conducive environment called the womb has come about as individual beings. That's all he's saying. You understand? It's very, I don't know how I'm trying to use simple words to convey this entire theory of creation that is projected, that is brought about in Advaita philosophy, without confusing you much. Right? There is Brahman, just like there is Surabhi. The existence of Surabhi leaves the potential of not understanding Surabhi as Surabhi. Now, why this particular thing is being discussed? This is very important. Why he doesn't, he is very particular, Swamiji especially, because why he is talking about this particular thing, that when he says, I am the seed giving father, Brahman is not having any motive to create this world. If Brahman had a motive to create the world, which means what? Brahman is having certain lacuna. When I'm incomplete, by creating something, I can feel complete. But when we talk about Brahman, Ishvara, is something that is paripurna. How can paripurna tattvam have any incompleteness? It is not having any incompleteness. So therefore, it is not creating the world. But we have created the world out of it. How? Through our ignorance. So Brahman is not ignorant. We are ignorant. Therefore, he wants to say the very existence of Brahman creates the potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman. Are you with me? That ignorance is the seed. And our mind, the subtle body, is the womb. You don't always necessarily, you will see that not necessary that always non-apprehension will become misapprehension. You may not have understood Sonia. That doesn't mean you mistook somebody as Sonia. But somebody similar to Sonia came, let's say. Right? Somebody similar to Sonia. Then, in that conducive situation, you may misunderstand that person as Sonia. So, he wants to say that this existence of Brahman leaves the potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman. Now, in our mind, which is the womb, in a particular situation, we have misunderstood Brahman as this world. That's all he wants to say. So, through the knowledge, when that misunderstanding is removed, the ignorance is removed, we will again see Brahman as Brahman. That's it. That's all he wants to say in this shlokas. Is this clear? So, therefore, there is Brahman. The existence of Brahman leaves the potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman. And in the conducive atmosphere, situation, Brahman is misunderstood as this world. And we have misunderstood ourselves as this individual. So when we now have become the individuals, now as individuals, we are also Purusha and Prakriti. So the Prakriti in us has three gunas. Right? Now these three gunas, how they manifest, how they bind, when something predominates, what will be your direction, all that he discusses from shloka number 5 till the end. How to transcend the gunas and reach. So to get there, he just gave this theory of creation. So now once you understand all this, if you really dwell upon this philosophy, thereafter you will stop identifying with the gunas. You will start identifying with Atma. With objectivity, you start functioning. Then you will rise above Tamas, Rajas, increase Satva, and then go and realize Brahma. Let's conclude the class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.